There is one question. Sounds harmless, routine, almost polite. Most drivers answer it without thinking. And that's exactly why it works. Because the moment you answer, the legal landscape begins to shift. Not dramatically, not loudly, quietly. In a way most people never notice until it's too late. Here's what most people miss. It's not the question that traps you. It's how your answer gets interpreted. Traffic stops are built on small moments. A traffic stop is not a conversation. It's a sequence. Every second is observed. Every word is recorded. Every pause is measured. From a legal perspective, officers are not just listening. They are building perception, building justification, building a narrative. And sometimes, that entire process starts with a single question. A question that invites you to speak before you understand what's at stake. Because in these moments, movement versus words, timing matters. And small details carry more weight than long explanations. Move 1. The question that sounds harmless. Do you know why I stopped you? It's one of the most common questions in a traffic stop. And it feels conversational. But from a legal standpoint, it serves a very specific purpose. It shifts the interaction from observation to admission. Here's the hidden detail. The officer already has a reason for the stop. That reason may be clear, or it may still be developing. But the question does something subtle. It invites you to supply information that may not yet exist in the record. From a behavioral standpoint, most drivers respond quickly. A guess. Was I speeding? Did I miss a sign? That guess becomes language. And that language becomes evidence. From a legal perspective, courts analyze statements based on how they align with observed behavior. If your guess matches the officer's observation, it reinforces their case. If your guess introduces a new violation, it expands the case. In one scenario, a driver was stopped for a minor lane issue. When asked the question, he responded, "I might have been going a little fast." Speed was never part of the original stop. But after that statement, it became part of the report. This is where things change. Because the case did not begin with evidence. It began with a response. Move 2. Timing matters more than content. Most people focus on what they say. But courts focus on when they say it. Timing matters. A quick response often signals lack of reflection. From an officer's perspective, that can appear as spontaneous admission. From a legal standpoint, spontaneous statements carry weight. Because they are not seen as calculated. Now consider delay. If a driver pauses before answering the question, that pause is also recorded. Body cam review captures silence. Courts analyze gaps. A long pause followed by a partial answer can be interpreted as hesitation. And hesitation affects perception. Movement versus words. A driver who remains calm, keeps hands visible, and does not rush to fill silence, creates a different record. In one case-style scenario, 2 drivers were asked the same question. One answered immediately. The other remained silent briefly and responded only after the officer continued. The second interaction was described as controlled and neutral. The first was described as self-incriminating. Same question, different timing, different outcome. Move 3. Tone of voice becomes evidence. Here's what most people underestimate. Tone matters more than content. Body cam microphones flatten emotion. They remove facial context. What remains is cadence, volume, pacing. If a driver answers quickly with a nervous tone, that tone may be interpreted as stress. Stress becomes a factor. Now compare that to a steady, controlled tone. Even with minimal words, that tone communicates clarity. From a legal perspective, courts analyze how speech sounds when replayed, not how it felt in the moment. In one scenario, a driver responded calmly but quickly. The words were neutral, but the tone appeared rushed on playback. That tone was later described as anxious and reactive. This is where things shift. Because once tone becomes part of the record, it influences how everything else is interpreted. Move 4. Silence is not always neutral. Many drivers believe silence protects them, and sometimes it does. But here's what most people miss. Silence without alignment creates ambiguity. If the question is asked and the driver remains silent without visible response, that silence becomes behavior. From an officer's perspective, unclear silence creates uncertainty. From a legal standpoint, uncertainty allows interpretation. Now compare that to controlled silence. Hands visible, posture steady, contact neutral, no unnecessary movement. That silence communicates something different. Communicates awareness. In body cam review, courts analyze silence in combination with physical behavior. Silence alone is never the full picture. Movement versus words. If words are absent, movement defines the moment. Move 5. The first 10 seconds decide the frame. Before the question is even asked, the first 10 seconds matter. Courts analyze these moments closely. How the vehicle stops, how quickly it pulls over, what movements occur inside. These details shape perception before any words are exchanged. If the stop appears controlled, the interaction begins on stable ground. If the stop appears rushed or uncertain, the tone shifts immediately. Now connect this to the question. If the first 10 seconds show agitation, and the driver answers quickly, the answer reinforces that perception. If the first 10 seconds show control, and the driver responds deliberately, the answer aligns with stability. In one case scenario, body cam review focused more on pre-question behavior than the answer itself. Because perception was already formed. This is where things change. The question doesn't start the narrative, confirms it. If you're starting to see how one simple question can shift an entire situation, that's because most people never look at it from this level. If you want more breakdowns like this, real analysis, real-world interpretation, subscribe and stay with this channel. 'Cause these small details are what most people miss. Move 6. Compliance versus admission. Here's a critical distinction. Compliance and admission are not the same. Providing documents, compliance. Following instructions, compliance. Answering speculative questions, that's different. From a legal perspective, admissions are statements that support an officer's observations. Even partial statements. Even uncertain statements. I think I was. I might have. These phrases carry weight because they connect behavior to acknowledgement. In court, those connections matter. In one scenario, a driver never explicitly admitted speeding, but said, "I wasn't paying much attention." That statement became supporting language for the citation. This is where most drivers lose control. Not through refusal, through explanation. Move 7. The reasonable officer interpretation. Every traffic stop is evaluated through one standard. The reasonable officer standard. Courts ask, what would a reasonable officer interpret in that moment? Not what you meant, not what you intended, what was observable. Your answer to that one question becomes part of that observation. If your response introduces uncertainty, that uncertainty becomes reasonable to consider. If your response reinforces suspicion, that suspicion becomes reasonable to act on. This is why interpretation matters more than intent. Because once something appears reasonable, it becomes legally justified. Move 8. Detention versus arrest. Where the trap expands. During a traffic stop, you are typically under investigative detention, not arrest. This matters, because the threshold is lower. Officers need reasonable suspicion, not probable cause. Your answer to that one question can contribute to that suspicion. It can expand the scope of the stop, lead to further questioning, lead to additional checks, and eventually lead to probable cause. In one case-style example, a simple admission extended a routine stop into a longer investigation. Not because of confrontation, because of expansion. This is how the trap works. Quietly, incrementally. Conclusion. One question, one moment, one shift. It's never about the question alone. It's about the moment that follows it. From a legal perspective, that moment is where control shifts, not through force, through interpretation. Here's what most people miss. You don't lose control because you answered. You lose control because of how that answer is used. Timing matters. Tone matters. Movement versus words. And small moments, especially the ones that feel routine, decide everything that comes next. Because in the end, courts do not analyze intention. They analyze what happened, second by second, word by word. And sometimes, it all begins with one simple question.